Everybody, it's Devin and Georgie here, coming to you from Jacksonville, Florida, ready to make some art on Cap Kids Art Corner today. If you have watched these videos before, you kind of know what they're about. It's about making art. It's about checking in with our minds and our bodies to practice mindfulness, and to just sort of be more aware of our emotions and use art as a means of coping with those emotions when they get maybe a little bit too big. So today we are going to be doing some mess-free finger painting. And the thing about finger painting, even if it is mess-free, like what we're going to be doing today, it can be a little bit overwhelming for those of us that have maybe a lower frustration tolerance, because we are not able to really control the art, the paint, when we are using only our fingers. So that means, especially today, we really want to make sure that we are in a safe mindset and that our bodies are calm to be able to engage with this activity in the best way that we can. So let's go back to our tried and true way of checking in with ourselves and practicing mindfulness. And we are going to take a couple deep breaths, and then we're going to do some roller coaster breaths. So let's get our feet on the ground. Let's make sure that our bodies are kind of relaxed. So that might mean stretching a little bit. That might mean getting the wiggles out. That might mean putting something on your lap, whether it's a dog or a pillow, something to kind of keep you grounded with that weight. I always find that a little bit helpful as well. Let's take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Ooh, okay, I feel a little bit better already. So let's get our roller coaster breaths ready. Let's put up our hand and get our roller coaster car, and we are going to do a couple deep breaths. I'm going to breathe in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out, and one more, in and out. Okay. So we are ready to create some artwork today. I want to encourage you, sometimes it can be helpful, especially with more abstract art making like we often do here on Cap Kids Art Corner. I want to encourage you to try something new today and to set an intention. And what an intention is it's sort of setting a goal almost for what you want to achieve in this art making process. So my intention for myself today is going to be exploration, to explore maybe some new colors, maybe some new ways of thinking, some new perspectives while I'm creating art. So explore is kind of going to be my word for art making today, and you can use that word, or you can choose a different word, something that you want to manifest in your art making practice today. And as you're creating art, kind of keep going back to that word. That is also a way to kind of ground yourself and to practice mindfulness, which, as you know, I'm a very big fan of. So let's make sure that we have the right supplies, and we will go from there. So for mess-free finger painting today, you will need a piece of paper. You will need some saran wrap, some cling wrap. You will also need a couple different, as many as you want. I think I'm going to use 4 different colors of paint, and you want to make sure that those paint colors are complementary. So what that means is you want to kind of work within the same shade of colors, because these colors might get mixed together, and if you choose too many colors that are like all over the color spectrum, you're going to end up with kind of a muddy color. So let me give you an example of what I mean by complementary. So I'm choosing 2 purples and a pink, and just for a little bit more like shade variation, I'm going with like a very light peach. So these are the colors that I'm working with, because as I see them, I know that when they mix together, they're going to go well. I could go into all of the science behind complementary colors, but I think I'm going to save that for another video because I could kind of ramble on about that for a little bit. So I'm going to be working with 4 paint colors. Like I said, you can choose as many as you want, but I would recommend at least 2. So we have paint, we have our cling wrap, we have a piece of paper. I would encourage you to find a piece of cardboard just to kind of add a little bit more backing to the mess-free sort of setup that we're going to make. I just took the cardboard off of the back of my paper pad. That means that it will fit perfectly, so I encourage you to do the same. And the last thing we need is tape. So we've got tape, we've got cling wrap, we have paint, we have cardboard, and we have paper. So I'm going to give you a second to go get those supplies and check back in with me in just a second. And we are back. So let's get started. The first thing I'm going to encourage you to do is to take your tape and we're going to tape down your paper to the cardboard. So you don't need too many pieces of paper because it shouldn't be sliding too much, but I am going to go with 1 per corner. So we got 1, 2, 3, and 1 more, 4. Okay. Now you can choose to use a paintbrush for this. Because I have these handy little bottles, I am going to skip the paintbrush today. So let's move the camera a little bit so you can see what I'm going to be doing. And Georgie is right here. So let's check this out. So we are going to be taking our paint and we're just going to be placing little dots of paint. They don't need to be any bigger than a dime. So little dots of paint in various colors, kind of wherever you like, all over the paper. And if you noticed at the beginning where I listed the art supplies, I did recommend a thicker watercolor paper. And I usually, it's better to be safe than sorry in this case, and so I'm definitely recommending a thicker paper just because we are putting some thick paint on here. But if you do not have the watercolor paper, you will likely be all right because you have this cardboard backing, okay? Because if we put too much paint on regular computer paper, it's going to tear, and we want to avoid that. Okay. These kind of remind me, I don't know if you guys know, these right now are reminding me of those little like button candies that come on like the sheet of paper. I don't know if anybody else feels that way, but that's what it reminds me of. Okay, so let's grab our cling wrap and we are going to be putting cling wrap over this piece of paper and taping it on the back. So be prepared because whenever you do this, the colors are automatically going to kind of smear a little bit, and that's good, that's what we want. If we have parents watching this, I would recommend parents trying this, especially for kiddos that have more of a low frustration tolerance, because this cling wrap can be kind of annoying or frustrating to work with. So let me move this down again so you can see what I'm doing. And we are taking our cling wrap and we are very gently laying it right here. Okay. So now what we need to do is we need to tape it. See how it's smearing? And that's totally fine. So we are going to take more tape and we just want to make sure that it's secure on the back. So I am lifting it up just a little bit, just enough so that I can tuck the corners. But if you need to lift it more, you can, because this paint is not particularly runny, so you will be okay. Let me show you. Okay, so we're taping it here, and we are taping it right here. Awesome. And it doesn't have to be fully, you can see I'm leaving this part down, that's okay, because it's just going to be tucked under here. All right, So what we have made is pretty much, we have made the opportunity to explore with our fingers, finger painting without the mess. So you can sort of use this as a way to move the paint around. Let's put this down so you can see. It's hard to do like this. Okay. So you might want to move the paint like this. You might experiment with what happens whenever you blend the colors together. This is a really cool kind of way to explore the color spectrum as well, like what happens when you mix different colors together, what colors they make. And let's use this moment as a way to practice mindfulness. So I'm going to ask you to pay attention to the colors. Use your ears and listen to how the saran wrap sounds when you're blending the colors. How does the saran wrap feel under your fingers? So if you notice, we have some of the colors that I put together blending together a little bit here, but what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to add more paint here because I'm having a little bit of trouble moving the paint from point A down to point B here. So that is where the saran wrap is actually really cool too, because you can just lift it up and you can add some more. All right, and we can move it around a little bit more. Look at that. So when you feel, there we go. So when you feel like you have blended all of your colors together and you're really excited for how it looks, you want to take the saran wrap off. And you want to take the saran wrap off before the paint starts to dry because it's going to be a little bit tricky once that paint is dry. And then you're going to bundle it up, throw the saran wrap away, and you have an awesome kind of like abstract piece of art. And like I said, if I had more time, I would probably explore a little bit more blending. But I really just kind of wanted to show you guys how you can make your own finger painting station without all of the mess. So as always, I thank you guys for tuning in to yet another episode of Cap Kids Art Corner. I so enjoy doing these videos. As much as I miss seeing everyone in person, this isn't necessarily a replacement for that. I do still miss that, but I love that I am able to do this with you guys, sort of, from a distance. As always, please feel free to email me with questions at devin@capkids.org or send pictures of your final product. You can always follow along with some additional kind of arts and crafts stuff and coping skill things on our Instagram, which is Cap Kids Art Corner. And if you'd like to be added to our newsletter, which we are sending out every other week over the summer, you can email me and we will add you on there ASAP. Hope you guys have a great day, and I will talk to y'all soon.